What's going on, fight fans? It's your host Sebastian, and you're back with the boxing tip. Now, once again, I said it on my last video, Saturday, December 10th, very good day for boxing. I was very happy with all the fights. I was happy about all the fights, but as you can see from the picture, I was a little bit let down. I have no bitterness about it though. It was a good letdown, but it was just so fucking surprising. I'm still trying to process it a little bit. But we'll go ahead and talk about it. It was the fight between Jermall Charlo versus Julian JROCK Williams. As you guys already know, Jermall Charlo knocked out Julian JROCK Williams. Fuck. But yeah, it kind of bothers me a little bit that, you know, probably the most significant fight of yesterday, I guessed wrong. So, as you can see by my tweet on the picture, I started crystallizing. I mean, I was salty as shit when I saw Charlo land that fucking beautiful counter. Or was it a counter? Well, that beautiful right uppercut that just sparked JROCK. He was done the moment that punch landed. I remember just kind of yelling out loud, saying no. You know, my dad was right next to me and he started laughing at me because he picked Charlo to win. So man, I was fucking salty. You know, I'm still, like I said, I'm still trying to process it. It was super exciting. There was a lot of emotion out of me when it happened, but goddamn, like that fucking sucks. But enough about me and my salty ass feelings. We'll go ahead and get into the review, starting with what happened in the second round. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and start before the second round. Let's start with the ring walk. I mean, when I seen Charlo take off his whatever he was wearing, and I don't know why I don't know why I never thought about how big Charlo really was. I mean, I know JROCK wasn't that much smaller than him, but Charlo was just a fucking beast, dude. And then, you know, they open up the fight and it looks good. You know, Julian Williams is landing some good shots. Charlo was landing some pretty good shots, but it looked like Williams was starting to kind of pick up some momentum and starting to kind of outbox him. And then the second round comes and he gets dropped by a fucking jab. Now, in my fight prediction, I did talk about Charlo having a fucking sweet ass jab. It was super powerful. And I know that Julian JROCK Williams wasn't exactly hurt when he went down. You know, it was sort of like a flash knockdown, but I was like, dude, he's pumping out some serious power, knocking this dude down with the jab. And because it was so thudding that it just kind of pushed JROCK back and put him on his ass, I never thought that JROCK had a weak chin at that particular time. And I still don't think he has really all that weak of a chin. I just think Charlo has some really good power and really places his shots well and has like superb timing. But as soon as he landed that jab and he went down, I'm like, shit, man. My mind started to change right then and there. But the way Julian JROCK Williams responded to getting knocked down, man, he comes back and lands this fucking vicious right hand, and it looked like it might have staggered Charlo a little bit. And then he starts picking up that momentum again, and he starts outboxing him, and, you know, here and there. But the biggest thing that caught my attention, it wasn't so much JROCK and what he was doing. It was like Charlo looked faster than I've ever seen him look. Like, he was pretty fucking quick. And Julian JROCK Williams, you know, up until this fight, in my opinion, was like the fastest top 154 pounder. But Charlo was just showing some speed, man. Like those right hands, the jab, his counter rights. I mean, Julian JROCK Williams' hand speed was pretty good because, you know, JROCK wasn't getting away from every shot, but he did pretty good at defending. Man, it just, everything that I thought would go down in that fight sort of happened, but I was just not looking at Charlo the way that I probably should have been. And I want to apologize to Jermall Charlo right here on record and saying sorry that I kind of underestimated you. And I won't lie to you guys, a lot of it had to do with the Austin Trout fight. I know he did good in that fight. I thought the fight was pretty even, but, you know, I mean, he really upped his game up. I got a lot of newfound respect that he pretty much forced me to have, you know, especially staying at middleweight and taking on such a tough challenge like Julian JROCK Williams. So big ups to Charlo. But let's go ahead and talk about more of this fight, man. I'm getting so fucking off track. Like I said, I just haven't really had a good chance to process exactly what went down in the fight. But anyway, after the knockdown, like I said, Williams kind of picked up some momentum. He started to outbox Charlo a bit. Not by much, but he was outboxing him. But then it was like round 3 or like 4. I don't know, one of those 2 rounds. It was somewhere in the middle. It was somewhere in between him getting knocked down and him getting knocked out that I started to notice something about Charlo. I was like, why isn't he really pressing like he usually does? I mean, he was, but not as aggressive as he usually does do it. And then it like hit me. I'm like, holy shit, he's like kind of baiting Williams in a little bit, and that's kind of what he was doing. He was sitting there, he was kind of being patient, wasn't pressing JROCK Williams like he usually would a different opponent. So with him waiting there and not pressing the attack like he usually does, I think he kind of gave Williams some false sense of braveness, like, all right, well, I can go ahead and attack him. And then, you know, like I said, he was outboxing Charlo slightly up until the point he got knocked out, and then he comes in and he pulls a real good move and throws a right hand, and I think he like tried to follow up with the left hook, but he was like trying to step off to the side of Charlo when he threw that left hook to probably put him in a straight line for the shot, but it backfired so fucking bad. I think Charlo was just waiting for that one aggressive move that Williams tried to put on him, and then just let go this perfectly placed right uppercut, and it was like a blink of an eye. It happened so quick. That's what really surprised me, is how fast Charlo threw that punch. And you could only throw that punch if you know where your opponent's going to be. In my opinion, that shot was predetermined. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it was a lucky fucking shot. He caught Charlo. No, that's not what happened, dude. He saw exactly what was happening. He read that situation so well and caught Julian Williams after his attack. And, you know, that says a lot about Charlo's IQ, man. I mean, like I said, he stopped. He wasn't pressing the action like he usually does. I think he was trying to give Williams some sort of false sense of bravery to kind of get him in the mix with him, you know what I mean? Because he wasn't going to follow Williams around and try to outbox him that way. It probably wouldn't have worked. If that would have been the case, Williams might have won that fight, or would have not have gotten knocked out at least. But you know, like I said, it says a lot about Charlo, man. He read the situation very well, and he picked up on, you know, what Williams was trying to do. So, man, goddamn, I can't fucking believe it. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, it was such a significant fight, and I just did not see it happening the way that it did happen. So yeah, I'm gonna let my emotion out right here on this video. I hope you guys really don't mind. But it's all in good fun. You know, these fights like this, you know, it's important for boxing, you know, for the casuals and the hardcore fans, because there was controversy building up in this fight. You know, some words, some disrespecting coming from, you know, Julian JROCK Williams. Charlo kind of stayed on the quiet side. But being that this fight was such a hard fight to pick a winner in, I mean, man, like, even though I picked wrong, you know, I'm still happy that it went down like this, because now we have established that we potentially have the top guy in 154 pounds. Even though he's talking about moving up to middleweight, which I think is a good move for him. The dude's huge, but it creates this sort of like wow factor. Like, you know, this is what happens when you have two of the top heads in a division go against each other. You don't really know what to expect, but when something does happen, it's like, holy shit, I didn't see that coming. So yeah, you know, it's all in good fun. I felt like that fight was worth every second watching it, every second of my time to watch. Personally, I didn't feel like I was robbed out of a good fight or anything like that, you know, and I'm not gonna talk a lot of shit and undermine either guy's performance. You know, I'm not gonna say that Julian JROCK Williams was a bum any fucking way and he had no fucking chin and the dude didn't know how to box and Charlo's overrated and yada yada yada. No, man, it ain't like that. It really isn't. Not in this fight. You could probably make that argument for a different fight, but it isn't this fight. Both guys are A-level fighters, man, and we just found out, you know, who the better of those two A-level fighters was, and that was Jermall Charlo. And, you know, kind of bring up controversy a little bit, or I guess you could say shitting on the fight in some sort of way. I know that what Jermall Charlo did after the fight was over with was wrong. You know, you gotta have sportsmanship, really. But you gotta understand something, man. Like, the dude takes boxing seriously, and he does take people who threaten him being a top dog at 154 seriously. You know, a lot of emotions going into that. You got to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. You know, I know there's not like bad blood between these dudes, and you know, it was a mistake on Charlo's end, but don't bash the dude because his emotions got the best of him, man. He's a human being in the end. And I know after the fight, even though it wasn't like the most, you know, apologetic way to show JROCK Williams that he's sorry, you know, he did, and that's what's important, you know. And I'm sure the guys, after this whole scenario, after this whole thing is done, I'm sure they're gonna, you know, reconcile their differences, and you know, they'll probably be cool, and then they'll just get on with their careers, you know. So don't use that unsportsmanship against Charlo. He deserves every bit of credit for winning this fight. And you know, even though I picked Julian JROCK Williams, and even though that I was sitting there, you know, rooting for Williams to win, you know, I can't take away anything from Charlo. You know, he showed me that he is no hype job, that he deserves to be the IBF champion, that he deserves to be the top 154 pounder. And you know, he did say that he was going to move up the middleweight before the Williams fight, but he stuck around to take that fight because everybody, including JROCK Williams, was saying that he couldn't beat him. So I really don't see what the problem is when it comes to that thing. I think Jermall Charlo, like I said, deserves every bit of credit for winning that fight. But you know, I hope that this doesn't discourage JROCK Williams too badly. I do think that he is still a top 154 pounder, even in defeat. I would still like to see him up against more 154 pounders like Lara, Martirosyan, Demetrius Andrade, who's actually calling out Jermall Charlo, you know, saying that something about Cubs in the Lions Den or some shit like that. I don't really know exactly what was said. But you know, for JROCK, I want to see him keep fighting. He's young, you know. One defeat doesn't mean that you're out, you know, even if you did get knocked out brutally. But you know, now he can show his true fighting spirit, you know. Bounce back from this knockout, man. You got the skills, you got the ability, you have everything it takes to be a champion. So I don't want to see him quit, and I don't want to see him on some fucking downward spiral that some fighters go through when they do get knocked out. And I do wish him the best of luck, you know, in the rest of his career. Now for Jermall Charlo, once again, I want to congratulate him for winning the fight. I do respect him even more for sticking around at 154 pounds and, you know, proving why he was the top dog there. Now I want to see him either stay at 154 pounds and fight Demetrius Andrade, because damn, that makes for a fucking really good fight, man. You know, not sure who I'd pick a winner, but you know, after this shit, I mean, Charlo went up some serious notches in my book. So I don't know. I think Demetrius Andrade, you know, no disrespect for him, you know, I do love him as a fighter. He is a very good fighter. But I think that mouth needs to shut up, man. I think he needs to start making these fights. I think he needs to quit trying to chase down that Canelo fight and start really getting in there. Because he's an A-level fighter, man. He's got the chops, dude. I mean, he beat Martirosyan. You know, he knocked out Willie Nelson. You know, so dude's got some mustard, and I want to see him, you know, not chase the superstar and start fighting the real top-level competition in the 154 weight class. Not saying Canelo isn't a good boxer at all, but you know, he fights who he wants to fight. So you know, and I'm pretty sure that's not Demetrius Andrade. And then for Charlo, you know, if he decides to stick around at 154, I want to see him take on his twin brother. No, I'm just kidding. I want to see him take on Demetrius Andrade. I'd like to see him in a Lara fight, possibly. You know, there isn't any like networking issues or promotional issues there. I'm pretty sure they're all under the same banner. And if he does decide to move up to middleweight, you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, go ahead and fight Triple G. I wouldn't say that's the best move for your first fight at middleweight. I'd like to see him up against, you know, at least a top 10 middleweight first. You know, maybe like David Lemieux, you know, Chris Eubank Jr., Billy Joe Saunders, you know, somebody in that, even Curtis Stevens. Fuck, I mean, I know he ain't top 10, but, you know, that dude's got some pop. So, you know, we'll see how Charlo could deal with anybody at middleweight. And then, you know, once he acclimates well for the division, even though I know he's had a hard time making 154 pounds, you know, if he's really comfortable at the division and he gets some wins under that division, then I would like to see him go up against Triple G, you know, and that is a good fight if you ask me. Some people are probably like, oh, well, Triple G will blow him out, Charlo will destroy Bum Lufkin and whatever, you know, there's a lot of fucking controversy when it comes to Triple G, so it'll be super divided. Me personally, I don't want to pick a winner now. I want to see some shit leading up to that fight if it does take place, or if Golovkin has different things on his mind, or maybe he's willing to move up at some time in the future. Maybe we don't even get the fight, but I would like to see the fight. But as of right now, whatever Jermall Charlo does decide to do, I'm perfectly okay with it, because he said he was going to move up to middleweight. People said don't do it, fight this dude. He does, he beats him, knocks him out in brilliant fashion, you know, so he gave everybody what they wanted. So I think as a sign of respect, we should respect what he wants to do with his career next, and not so much what the fans want for his career next. But, you know, we'll have to see what happens in the future. This does bring a lot of attention to the 154 and middleweight division. I'm really excited to see what happens in the future. Jermall Charlo, once again, I apologize for underrating you. You know, you are a good fighter, and I will not make that mistake again. If I pick someone to beat you, I'm gonna be fucking 100% sure that they're gonna win. But that's all I got for you guys today, man. I want to thank you guys in advance for watching. It's gotta be hard to sit here and listen to my ass fucking rant this whole time. It turned from fight review to me venting what I wanted to say. Once again, man, comment, share your thoughts with me. Let me know what you guys think about this. This is such a juicy topic. Also, subscribe to my channel. You know, catch the latest videos of the boxing tip. Show me some love. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed the content. But I'll go ahead and talk to you guys on the next one. Terrence Crawford versus John Molina. Stay tuned. Peace the fuck out. God damn it, he fucking lost.